Welcome and thank you for tuning in. Now, if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, then you might have seen a post by me where I was getting excited about going away for a week. Well, here I am at last in my little wooden cabin. Meg's having a nap next to me here because we're both pretty tired after our drive and initial wander. As to where I am, well, the lamp in the corner there might give you a bit of a hint. Yes, I'm in Scotland. That's as much as I'm saying, to be honest. The area that I'm in, I have never been to before as a photographer. It kind of feels a bit like untapped territory to a degree because I can't find any good examples of photographs from this area which show the potential of the woodlands. Maybe there isn't any potential. Maybe this week will turn out to be a complete disaster, but either way, I think I'm going to enjoy just exploring and seeing what I can find in places that I know nothing about. And that's exactly what I wanted. You know, my photography over the past 8 years has been built upon exploration and discovery in my local area, the excitement that it brings, the childlike sense of wonder and imagination when you step into somewhere for the first time and you just want to explore and you're curious, and finding a fantastic tree just feels amazing. And I just want to feel that again because I felt a bit lost this year, to be honest. Not for the whole year, but certainly over the last couple of months. Last year I felt as if I was just going 100 miles per hour all the time. I was still busy with my book. We had the big Woodland Sanctuary exhibition and it was amazing. But then now all that's finished, I don't know, it feels as if I was just like, oh, okay, so what now? So I needed to refocus. I needed just this trip away to refresh myself, feel inspired, go to new places, and even if I don't make any really good photographs, I'm just going to enjoy the process and just the feeling that you get from walking in new territory. And I know Meg's going to have a great time as well. We'll see what happens. I mean, in terms of the season, timing isn't great, I don't think. But the most important thing is that I'm here. There are some areas that are greening up quite nicely, but then other parts of woodland that I've seen this afternoon still feels as if they've got that sort of sleepy silence of winter and very skeletal trees. So I think there's going to be a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest. Not quite the verdancy of spring that I expected. But we'll see what happens. Yes, I'm going to enjoy the process. But first things first, I'm very hungry. I have a pizza to make, so I'm going to do that, refuel, get some well-needed rest, and see what tomorrow brings. And I'll see you then. I've been wandering this little mossy area of woodland for a while now, and I'm in a little dream world. It's absolutely wonderful. I can't even tell what trees these are. They're so festooned in moss. They're backing off onto a plantation here, hence why it's so dark, so damp. It's just the most incredible atmosphere. Of course, even better would be to have some mist or fog, but you know, I'm not necessarily here for that. This is my very first visit to this woodland. I just want to get a feel for it, enjoy it, see what I can find, and I've just been wandering around with this huge grin on my face because it's just wonderful, brimming with potential. So I could target something more simplistic perhaps, just focusing on one particular tree. But there's nothing simple about this little area here. It is complicated. So that's what I've wanted to capture. I wanted to get a feel of the darkness back here, but the lightness back there. So we're just kind of looking towards the more open woodland. And I have an arrangement here, which I think speaks for the character of this particular spot. So I'm quite happy about that. That's what I like to do. If you're familiar with my channel, you know that I prefer, not always, but I do enjoy a slightly more complex image. And I think we have that here. In that we've got a number of different elements. We've got deadfall, we've got this wonderful foreground tree with the darkness against the darkness behind us here, with some moss catching light in the foreground there, but we get progressively lighter, and then we've got a tree right in the center of the frame just leaning away. Lots of little curves which are really quite wonderful, trying to get nice precise positioning of those, and separation between the different trees as well. So it's a nice little arrangement. A touch of complexity, a touch of mood, a touch of light, and a mass of moss. So yeah, it's a nice start. You've probably been able to tell by some of the B-roll that I am in absolute heaven. I'm loving every minute of this. It goes back to what I said in the cabin actually about that magical warm fuzzy feeling of finding somewhere new, and that sense of awe and wonder when you're just wandering around exploring, trying to make sense of it and just discovering new trees and scenes and things you've never seen before, and the life that's growing here is just wonderful. It's more than I could have wished for. Now I'm not going to pretend that the photography is easy, because it isn't, as with woodland photography in general. There's certainly plenty of things to be photographed. I'm sure it'd be easier if we had some particularly special conditions. As it is, we've got rain, it's overcast, which is perfect actually for exploring somewhere new, getting to know it and just enjoying everything that has to offer, because there's such a richness of life here that's brought to life even more by these damp conditions. It's something very special. Places like this are very, very special. I've stopped to take a photograph here. We've got a moss-covered oak tree, and we've got a beech tree with all these lovely fresh leaves. It is absolute green overload. I initially had this camera on auto white balance because it's got this AI assisted auto white balance, which is generally pretty good, but it got very confused with it. It's been getting very confused all day. So I've switched it to daylight white balance, and the green is intense, so I will have to try and combat that afterwards, introduce a bit of magenta, desaturate the green a little bit, and also bring out some of the red and orange, which we've got in the bed of beech leaves down amongst the mossy boulders there. But I just love the delicate floating nature of these fresh beech leaves. Everything's anchored with this massive green lumpy moss on the oak tree on the right hand side there, and then we hit the leaves and everything just gradually opens up ever so slightly over on the left hand side, and it just says something about this place. Green, moss, boulders, so we've got a nice distribution of boulders down in the bottom of the image, and it just breaks up some of that. Well, it's a nice contrast to the delicacy in the image, but also breaks up some of the understory there and adds a nice interesting feature. I'm approaching this exactly the same as I would when shooting locally. It's just, everything just kind of feels like a scout for now. To be honest, I've got 6 days here, 6 more days. I think I'd be quite happy just in this one woodland, just getting to know it. And then if we do get some really good conditions, I can jump onto compositions like this and other ones that I've seen. So primary goal is to get to know this woodland a little bit more intimately. Well, I say intimately, that would take a long time, but certainly get to know it much, much more. Right, so this has turned out for now though. This episode, as with all my videos, has been sponsored by, well, me. Yes, every trip away, new piece of kit, exhibition, book, it's all self-funded so that I can keep things authentic to my schedule and not dilute my content by having to promote things that I don't truly believe in. However, I can't pursue new projects and make new videos without the support of viewers and followers of my photography. So if you like what my channel is about and would like to see my work continue, then perhaps consider buying a very nice book or a print, perhaps making a one-off donation or becoming a patron. Now, I'm not a prolific uploader, but I'm always working hard behind the scenes to just grow as an artist and share what I can. You know, some of you have been following and supporting since my first video in 2016, and it's that kind of loyalty that means everything. So as always, your support is massively appreciated, so thank you. Now there's plenty more to come from the temperate rainforests, but in the meantime, why not check out my very first video from a temperate rainforest, which was back in 2018. I'll put all the appropriate links in the description below. But thank you very much for watching this episode, and I'll see you again very soon. This is one of the most sumptuous trees I have ever seen. I mean, just look at it. Just to see that in full flow with the framing of these branches here would be really quite something.